Hello, Vincent.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Sultan.
Hi, Sultan. Nice to meet you.
Me too. I come from
Uh,
Kazakhstan.
you come from where?
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Okay, very good.
Ever heard of this
And
country?
I've heard of Kazakhstan.
Uh,
Yeah, of course.
nice.
With the triple G.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone knows triple G. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, all right. What would you like to talk about today?
Uh, I read your profile and it says you kind of preparing for IELTS speaking part. I'd like
Uh-huh.
to practice one or two questions and maybe listen to your feedback.
Sure, all right. I'll show you a lesson plan as an example.
Yes, of course.
So, is this your first time using Cambly?
No, it's not first.
Okay, so have you done this one with holidays and vacations?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's try it. Let's see. So it talks about IELTS, and we won't do this because
Mm-hmm.
we only have 15 minutes. But is there any vocabulary here you don't know? If you have a quick read through this, and there's any phrases and things. So to unwind, to gather.
Just unwind. Maybe you can give an
Okay,
explanation, give a
that
definition.
means to relax.
Okay.
So you're very tight, and then
Uh-huh.
when you unwind, it means you're relaxing.
Okay, the rest is clear.
All right. All right, good. Okay. And any phrases you're not, do you know
No,
these
all of them are
phrases?
familiar.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, we'll get straight into the question then. Let me just get a pen so I can write some notes. Okay, so um, let's get to the question. So, do you like holidays? And do you prefer to travel or stay at home during holiday periods?
Well, to be honest, I don't really like them because I have nowhere to go, I have no one to visit, and at the
Mm-hmm.
moment I live by myself, so I don't really
Mm-hmm.
like holidays because I have to spend them mostly alone, and that makes me
Mm-hmm.
feel sad. And if I have some
Mm-hmm.
free time, I'm eager to go somewhere, not even travel, but just go out, maybe go shopping or just hang out in the park or go to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
However, if the weather is bad, I prefer stay at home watching movies on Netflix or reading a good book or just having a nice conversation with some of my friends coming from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Good. Very good. Okay. And what about specifically on holiday periods? So, how about at Christmas time?
Uh, is
Would
it
you prefer?
is that speaking part one or part three? Part one.
This is part one.
Part one. Okay.
Part one.
Uh,
Yeah. Would you like to do part three? If you like, we can do that afterwards.
uh, yeah, I'd like to do one or two questions and hear from
Okay.
your feedback. Of course, what I need is because you're a teacher.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, you asked about Christmas. Well, we call it New Year, which comes December 31st and January 1.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
before that, I used to spend it all the time with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
However, she passed away just several weeks
I'm
ago.
sorry.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
several weeks ago. So this Christmas, I don't have any idea how I'm going to spend it. But generally, yeah, I used to spend it with my mom, just enjoying the
Uh-huh.
dinner meals, and that's it.
Good. Very good. Okay. Good. Good answer. Just one very small thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you say January 1, it's January 1st.
Yeah, January 1st.
Yeah, just a very small thing. So just rather than saying 1, say first. And when you say at the very beginning, you said I don't really like them, and I know we're talking about holidays, um, but in an exam, you might want to say I don't really like holidays, just to
Mm-hmm.
make it clear, because there's two questions,
Mm.
and so I could have been interpreting, for example, travel or holiday, so it wasn't clear what you meant by them.
Or
I know what you meant, but just make it clear to if you do an exam,
mm-hmm.
just make it clear what you're talking about to start the
Could I
sentence.
say just vacations? Like I don't like
Yeah,
vacations.
You can say vacations. It's holidays is more like Christmas and Easter and things, but vacation is more general speaking. So when you take time off work, you could say I'm going on vacation.
Gotcha.
But it depends. If you're speaking to someone in England, holiday means both. But in America, vacation, holiday, they're separate. Okay. All right, good. But apart from that, your answer is really good. I think you have a good understanding of a good vocabulary already. Maybe you could have gone into more detail if you wanted to keep speaking. You could have gone into more detail about the reasons, for example, why you don't like visiting people on the holidays. Example, you said there's nowhere to go, so you could have said there's nowhere to go because of this, or because of, I know it's because of COVID, but for an example, you could have explained more. And maybe you could have said, I like to watch something on Netflix, for example, this show, or I like to read these books, just to give your answer more depth.
Thank you.
Just go into more, yeah, but I think it's good, but it's just if you want to keep talking more, you had the opportunity to go into more detail.
Okay, I see.
All right, good. Okay, so would you like to practice a part 3 question?
Yes, part 3, please. Part 3.
Okay, let's practice a part 3 question.
Which is a bit longer.
Yeah, no problem. 1 second. So let me find the question. So this one's on education. Okay. So
no problem.
Is higher education expensive in your country?
Well, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. I would say that higher education in Kazakhstan, I mean, the tuition fee goes into 2 parts. First one is government subsidized, and at the moment lots of students enjoy this opportunity, which means they study for free. There is just one small thing: they have to work like 2 or 3 years after they graduate, because the government gives them money. I mean, they don't have to pay their tuition fee, and they get some scholarship, let's say $100 a month if they are bachelors or something like that. And in this way, it is for free. However, if a student doesn't get government sponsorship and help, he has to pay tuition fees by himself, and that might be kind of expensive. And again, it depends on the university the student goes to. For instance, if it's in a big city, like in the capital, which is Nur-Sultan or Almaty, the 2 biggest cities in Kazakhstan, the tuition fee in these universities might be higher compared to those located in smaller cities. And but it's no less than, I think it's 1,000 a year. I might be mistaken because I don't know all the details of all the universities, but generally it's no less than $1,000 per year for bachelor degrees. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Very good. Good answer. Really good answer. All right. And we'll go on to the next question. Should all students pay for their university education?
I never thought of it before. However, if I have to answer, well, again, I don't think so, because inequality exists in all societies, no matter how developed it is. Let's take the USA or Pakistan or whatever country we're talking about. There are always the rich and the poor, and the rich, of course, they can't afford going to Harvard or Cambridge and paying tuition fees by themselves. On the other hand, there is another category of people, the poor, for instance, who cannot afford to pay their tuition fees. And in this perspective, or from this point of view, these kind of students should get some kind of support from the government or charity organizations. And for sure, I believe they should get some help and go to university for free, or at least get some like half tuition fee and some scholarship, because afterwards they might repay this debt or be employed by some companies and etc. There is always a place for a charity, I believe, in every society.
Okay, very good. Good. Really good answer. All right. They're both really good answers. I mean, you have a very good vocabulary already. Have you ever taken the exam? I imagine you have a high level.
I took it 6 years ago, actually. It's a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
Because
Okay, so probably you would have a very high score now.
at that time, I didn't know a lot about IELTS. So I just got like, I don't remember, maybe 6 for speaking. But at the time, yeah, it was 6 years ago. And what about your like recommendations or feedback for these answers?
So feedback for the questions. So very small points again. You said something. You said if for the first question you said it depends on the work, like something something, and you instead of saying like, it's more formal if you say if they work for a company or if they work for something. If you say like, it's very casual. So try to avoid using the word like as a connective word in an interview or in a formal exam like this. In terms of, so you said if they work like for a company, something. That's, I think you said something like this. Whereas you really should say if they work for a company, blah 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 blah. Because like, it's also very American, which isn't a problem. It's just it's casual American. So in a job interview, try to avoid using the like word. And in England, children and young adults use like a lot in their everyday conversation. So try to avoid it because it sounds too casual. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we were
So
talking about
yeah.
universities and talking about different cities. I was talking about big cities and smaller cities. So I was saying, like, again, like in the big cities, the tuition fee, of course, goes higher, and in the smaller cities, like I was giving examples. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like that, it's fine. But in a normal, when you're just using it in the middle, try to avoid it. But that was the only tiny small thing that I found when you said like instead of for. I would have used the word for at that point. And in terms of your other answer, it was really good. And maybe you might want to, because you were explaining it. So one word you might want to use is, for example, compensation or support. So those kind of words, you were getting to the point, but you used a sentence when you could have used one word to explain your meaning. So you could have said there could be a benefit scheme or compensation or something, using those words, that vocabulary to explain the concept. I knew exactly what you meant because you said, well, they should give them something to help support, blah, blah, blah. And you could have used that in one word. And in English, you can call it a subsidy, compensation, benefits. And we have a certain package in England, but I'm not sure if they have a word for it in Kazakhstan. It's like a government scheme, basically, which they give to
So you, of course, thank you, and I understand you're referring to a higher level vocabulary, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just for that point. But apart from that, it was really good. Do you have any questions for me? It's only 1 minute.
Yeah,
But do you
I
have any
see.
questions?
Like, what are the general recommendations for the speaking exam?
For the speaking exam, I would recommend. I think your level's really high. I think it's really high, and I think you will have a very good understanding and good vocabulary. I think just perhaps very small things in terms of the structure and maybe pronunciation with rich, because it took one or two times for you to say rich for me to understand you were saying rich.
Rich.
I think just very slightly more emphasis on the I. So rich.
Rich. And what about my accent? How does it sound?
I understood everything else. Everything else was fine. It was just that one word I was maybe try and work on that. But really small things. But really, yeah, really fine. But I hope that was useful, and it was nice to see you.
Thank you very much,
Nice to meet
Vincent.
you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.